Hey everyone, welcome back to Kubota Farm here in East Vineland, New Jersey, where I have leased a new toy. The Lizard Sadie. This is a mod that just came out. I think it came out Friday, which would be yesterday, because I'm recording this on Saturday. And it's from Mantrid. I've been looking for alternatives to pick up these guys, these grass windrows, right? And not really, I don't know, alternatives, but kind of alternatives. I mean, I've been thinking we can bale and wrap, use our fast baler. We've got a Kubota fast baler we can use. We can wrap it, turn into silage, take that over to the silage barn for storage. We can use a forage wagon. Um, I think I could lease that lizard. I don't even, what do you call it? Forage header, forage pickup head. This guy here, forage pickup, which actually we still may end up purchasing at some time or another because we can get it in semi Kubota orange and actually kind of sharp looking, if you ask me. But then this came up and I'm like, wait a minute, Mantrid, what have you done? First of all, you gave me our semi kind of Kubota orange. And it's basically, is it a Stroutman or let's see here. It's this guy here, right? Kind of, or this guy. It's very much. It looks a lot like. Well, it looks a lot like these forage mixers, right? But without the back end here. They kind of, I don't know, different brands. So you've got this. What is this? Ferrison. I don't even remember that even being in the game. But you got Ferrison. You've got Silo King, Coon. You've got Stratman. I don't know. It's not that. That cab looks a little bit different. That's kind of neat looking though, isn't it? I don't know. Is it this? It's not this either, really, is it? Or is it? Anyways, you get the idea. Yeah, I guess maybe it was that Stroutman. Maybe that is the closest thing. But he's taken that and he's kind of gotten rid of, the unnecessary things for mixing forage because that's not what we want to do. I just noticed these wheel chucks down there too. Kind of cool. And he's added a cover to it. Let's hit the inside so you can see this top cover. Some wheel options. And what's kind of cool is inside, let's fire this thing up. It's got a pretty neat interior. It's got this tablet right there that really displays kind of everything you're doing. So as I raise and lower my pickup head arm, you can see that's shown in the tablet. I have a feeling right clicking is going to bring up, yep, we need to turn, I wish that option would save actually. Deactivate. I wish that Courseplay would remember that I've deactivated it for this particular piece of machinery. But anyways, that's a different thing altogether. But you can see here the cover lifts and you can see that in the tablet. You can also see how the joystick is animated. And he's got animations for all the lights on the stock, the hazard lights. You can see the switch being fired there. You can see headlight switches that get thrown there and displayed on the tablet. Very, very cool. I know there's a couple other things. I like the lizard on the steering wheel. That's pretty slick. I'm trying to think of what else there is. Oh, there's a rear-facing camera. But yeah, overall, very, very cool. And it picks up virtually everything or anything off the ground. The only thing I found that it isn't happy with picking up, oddly enough, I don't know if this was on purpose or if this is something that Mantrid will add later. I really don't know. Oh, it does actually show grapes there in the list. I could not get it to pick up grapes. So, and yeah, grapes are listed here. Okay. That's the one thing I could not get it to pick up. I tested a lot of things out. Rocks, manure, straw, grass, hay, um, sugar beets, cut sugar beets, potatoes. Well, basically I could just go and list all of these things. Because I tested a lot of these things, and it was more, even snow, it was happy to pick up snow. I couldn't get it to pick up grapes though. So I might leave a note for Mantrid if someone hasn't already told them about that. But there's a lot of selections here, especially color options are really good. Left a nice color palette for each thing that you can select. You get only one engine configuration, 250 horse, but if I'm being honest, I think it's all of 250, if not more, because it sure seems powerful enough to me. Some tire options as well. Goes through kind of all the brands, but basically you can choose between off-road, street, or mud tires is generally the idea there. The cover is kind of cool. You can do a clear plastic cover. You can do a frosted. Then you can get into tinted glass and then tinted main, and which would be this color. So if we change that to blue, it's like a tinted blue. You can also do a tinted design color. So if we go down to the design color and change that to green, you can see how it's tinted green. And then if you don't want tinting, you can go with solid. So there's that too. Pretty cool. You can add a trailer hitch to the back. And of course, some of you are really going to like this, and I took advantage of it because I figured why not, is the fill volume. So its base fill amount, as you can see, is 25,000 liters. But Madrid has extended the capacity to 50 if you want, and has an on-reel capacity of 100. So you can probably guess which one I picked. So there's only two things actually that I have found with this particular mod that are a little off. Not being able to pick up grapes is one of them. At least for me, it hasn't been able to, and that was testing on a map that I had, well, basically no other mods installed in, so I don't think it was a conflict. Then the only other thing I found is this header, when you turn it on, if you hit uneven terrain, it has a tendency to really dig in. I haven't gone head over heels yet, but you feel like you're going to do a front endo because it digs right into the ground. And I've tried lifting it off the ground just a little bit, which does help, but this thing is actually so sensitive. Let's just do this. It's unfolded. Let's fire it up. And this thing will pick up stuff full speed. All right. So what does it clock in at? 37 miles an hour. I think that's 60 kilometers an hour. This thing will run full speed. So yeah, if you're looking to pick up stuff very, very fast, you can run this thing full out. But I'll show you something here. When it's picking up grass, you see how having the head, it's picking some up, but it is leaving what's underneath behind. So you have to have the header all the way down to the ground to really pick up everything. And in a lot of ways, I like the way it shoots through that opening right there too. In a lot of ways, I like that because it's very precise, which makes it, I think, very, very nice. But at the same time, it also makes it, like I said, difficult to run on some uneven terrains. I'll show you maybe, because this field has some uneven terrains. Yeah, see right there. We just hit something right through here. There's a little bump in the ground, right? Now, running it slower, of course running it slower does help a little bit, but you're still going to get the, a little bit of the bumps. I've also tried different tires because I thought, maybe if I get bigger tires or maybe if I get smaller tires, that'll make a difference. I haven't noticed that making any difference at all. So, but yeah, that's just being a little critical, honestly. It's really Yep, you can see right there. Now what's interesting, and actually let's do this. Let's go ahead and shut this thing off. What's kind of interesting is, I love the beacons and stuff on this thing too. Nice beacons. Got a nice look to it. This might be a permanent addition to the farm. I really like this thing. You cannot do feed mix with it, I don't believe. I think that's something that you do give up with this thing. It's meant pretty much only to pick up ground spoils. So whatever you have left on the ground, this thing will chug up, unless of course it scrapes. Now, let's fire this thing up again. I have noticed that going this way, because as you can see, I've already picked up some rows, some windrows, because I've been playing around with it a little bit. It doesn't seem to ground hop or get stuck in the ground going this way, I don't think. It seems to do better going this way. Of course, it'll probably make a liar out of me here, but it just seems to be smoother going this way. Now that could just be, you can see here where we were skipping, no problems. So that could just be, you know, this field. This is the only field I've tested it on. I haven't tested it on any other fields, so I don't know. Your mileage may vary depending on what, you know, what map you're using and so on and so forth. But I really like it. I really do. I really, really like it. And I would think in real life, okay, so I guess, you know, I quote real life, right? It is a feed mixer. So it is designed to pick up through the roller and that shaft that goes up there. It's legitimately designed to pick up grass, right? It's legitimately designed to pick up silage. Or is it in straw? Or am I thinking hay? Man, I always get hay and grass mixed up when it comes to TMR. But I quite like the machine, and it's got a nice wide pickup header on it, so it seems to be very, very forgiving when it comes to picking up windrows. And like I said, if you want to, you can run this thing at 37 miles an hour. Let's just put it to the boards here. I feel like it's a little out of control, and I feel like it's a little bit, well, less realistic. Running it quite that fast, but at the same time, because it does bounce around a little bit more and stuff, you know. So I tend to run it at, I would say, you know, more of a realistic speed. And that to me is like 11, 12, you know, maybe 13 miles an hour. Yeah, see, going this way on this field, it just really suffers. So oh, see, we're stuck. Yeah. So it may just have more to do with East Vineland. This particular field on East Vineland that's giving it fits. You may not run into that issue at all, you know. But I'll tell you, it is nice to get 100,000 liters of grass at one time in this thing. If you're not baling your windrows, this thing's pretty sweet. Oh yeah. Now that 250 horsepower engine is starting to show. It's got a little grunting going on here with that incline, that's for sure. And it's actually getting pretty full too. I mean, we've got 82,000 liters. Of grass in this thing, so not surprising it's struggling a little bit on hills. But it makes for quick work, for sure. I think it would be interesting and maybe asking too much if you could use it as a mixer. But I don't know that that's... I don't know, maybe that's even more unrealistic, or maybe that's something that can't be done because of how the mod, you know, reacts, or how it has to function, or something. I don't know, but oh, get going, Bessie. Sadie. Yeah, that's her name. So I have been finishing up grass on this field, and I have taken it over, and I have completely filled our fermenting silo up. At least the grass part of our fermenting silo is full. So what I've been doing is taking this bad boy and bringing the grass over to our storage barn, at least for the time being. I think it's set to left. Let's change the output to back. It seems to empty faster, the fastest from the rear. But where is our, did I turn off our, there it is. So you can see we only have grass in here right now. What we could do if we really want to is we can, once our fermenting silo starts emptying out, we can bring silage over here to store and start taking grass over there to ferment. So we can just kind of do a round robin with our goods. But something that I am curious about, and I don't think it's gonna work. You can open the cover. But I don't think, we're going to find out here. I'm curious if it will act as a trailer fill, if we can fill it from the top. Or can you only pick up from the ground? Let's find out if it will let us fill anything. Yeah, it will. Nice. Very cool. Excellent. That's good news. So that will make life... Whoa, that back camera freaks me out. And it's that wide angle camera? Oh, yeah. I'd kind of like to see that go away. And I'm pretty sure I know how to do that myself in the XML file. I think I've done that in the past. I've eliminated those cameras that I don't use, because I just don't see where I'm going to be using this thing. But, so maybe that camera could go bye-bye. I don't know, really. I don't think I'd really use it much. I don't know that a lot of people would use it that much, but... Good device, this thing. Good vehicle, you know, and I'm glad I tried it out. I think it could be really handy on a lot of farms, especially with that unrealistic fill limit. You can make quick do. What I'm curious about too is it does have the ability to have a trailer hitch. So I'm kind of wondering if you hook up a trailer to the back end of this thing. I don't know what good that's gonna do as far as... It'd be cool if you could empty it into a trailer so that you could like get 100,000 liters into this thing and then dump it out the back into a trailer, but that doesn't seem like that's gonna work. So maybe just having the ability to haul a trailer, you know, I'm trying to think of what other device you would want to tow with it, because it's just a plain trailer hitch. I suppose it's just something that's handy to have. If you, you know, if you're going to go to a field and you're going to be picking up windrows or picking up potatoes or whatever you plan on doing, having an additional trailer or needing an additional trailer over at that field, you know, you can always just tow it right over there with this thing. It's got good animations. Put the cover back on it if we want, just to make sure grass isn't flying everywhere. And it makes pretty quick work. You know, it makes pretty quick work out of picking up grass windrows, or for that matter, straw windrows, hay windrows, any other products. Like, I'm already thinking, you know, it's kind of handy to be able to, when you're on your own playing single player, and let's say you don't want to deal with, let's say you're doing foraging, right, with corn or something, you could just do a dump direct to ground and come back and just follow the hired hand, just follow behind the forage harvester with this bad boy and pick up the chaff with this thing instead of trying to stay alongside a hired helper, the AI, because sometimes the AI can get a little squirrely when you're trying to forage corn. I think you guys get where I'm going with that. And this isn't such a bad thing anyways, because we did need to set aside some grass for our sheep. So we've got almost 200,000 liters of grass. Sheep won't need that much, but it would last them quite a while. But we can certainly take some of that and bring it over to our fermenting silo once we free up some space in the fermenting silo. Let's just close this cover up. Let's take a quick peek at our fermenting silo and see how things are going over here. So yeah, grass is pretty much full right now. I mean, we could add chaff or hay, but the grass is pretty much full right now. And we've got about 157,000 liters of silage ready to go. So I guess while we have this thing, we might as well use it for one more thing before we return it off of its lease. And it wasn't expensive to lease. It's not an expensive device, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to go ahead and put 100,000 liters of silage in the back end of this thing, and we'll take it over to our storage barn. I don't even think the thing is all that expensive to begin with. $88,000 plus maybe a few thousand. I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 more to configure, to personalize colors. There's 1,000 for that one. 35 bucks for that. Can make this thing just about as pretty, or I won't say ugly, but interesting as you want it to be. But yeah, 2,735 more for adjusting all the colors, and then a few dollars more, I think, for maybe some tire changes and stuff. It's not that bad. And leasing it, you know, 4,600 to lease. I don't know. That's not too shabby in my book. This will go ahead and free up some more room for our fermenting silo to continue working, which is kind of nice. And we're going to hang on to our silage once again until I think it's December, January time frame. Will it fill through the cover? Oh, it stopped. Now I wonder if it will fill through. Oh, no, it won't fill through the cover. All right. I thought I turned you off. Why is that conveyor belt still spinning? Did I not turn you off? Oh, no, I didn't turn you off. And we can fold it and cover it. And there we go. There's 100,000 liters of beautiful silage waiting to go to market and make us some money. So I was out on the Giants forum last night, just checking out the latest of what's being reported and things like that. What's the conversation right now for Farming Simulator? And I've been experiencing something recently that I had not noticed up until, honestly, I think it started with the release of the Platinum DLC. What update was that? Is that... I forget what the update number is now. Giants released an update to the game, like, remember, like it was a week before the Platinum Pack came out? And I think that's when I started noticing this, and I don't know that you will see it in the video. It's not happening right now. But occasionally I get screen flicker. It just looks like my screen has this really faint flickering to it. And I thought I'd check out the forums to see if anybody else was experiencing that. And sure enough, there are reports out there of screen flicker. And it seems to be something that... It's hard to say what's causing it. It's hard to say what fixes it. For me, I can easily get rid of it just by... If I have locked frame rate, let's say I have my frame rate locked at 60, which I generally do. If I unlock it, it goes away. So for me, it's super simple. The only other thing I've ever had happen, and it's not on every map, and it seems to only happen on... I don't think I've ever had it happen to a Giants map. Only mod maps. I could be wrong about that. But I don't ever remember seeing it on Elm Creek. And I've seen this reported quite a bit. Trees will be flashing. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. It's like the trees flash. It's really a weird thing. If you go on YouTube and just search for Farming Simulator flashing trees, you'll see what I'm talking about. And again, for me, it's almost along the lines of the screen flicker. If I unlock my frame rate, flashing trees goes away. I don't get flashing trees often. And I definitely get them more in the fall when the trees turn color. That's when it seems to happen mostly for me. And of course, you know, I always kind of go towards like, okay, so am I experiencing difficulties in other games? Am I having problems? You know, is this just a Farming Simulator title issue, or is this a PC issue that's impacting other games? And I just don't experience. I haven't experienced these issues in any other game that I play. And I know I've mentioned it before on previous episodes that as much as I appreciate Giants expanding the world of Farming Simulator, I really feel like there are some underlying graphics issues that really need to be addressed. And I hope they are being addressed. And I hope they're not running further ahead, too far ahead, and not correcting existing issues is my only concern. Because for me, I would rather see, like I've said before, I would rather see the game highly optimized so that more people can play it with a wide variety of hardware. People don't have to go out and buy a $1,000 graphics card to play Farming Simulator, because that's what it's getting to and coming to, and it's a shame. And I'll tell you, Nvidia is going to have to be really, really cautious, in my opinion, of how far they can push their prices. Because AMD, like AMD does, like they did with Intel, they are starting to creep up and get very, very close to Nvidia. In fact, with some games that are optimized for AMD, they're beating AMD. Or Nvidia, sorry. AMD is beating Nvidia. But for the most part, Nvidia still has the lead. And of course, Nvidia has ray tracing. If you care about that, you're not going to get it on an AMD graphics card, Um, but I'm cheering for AMD. I run AMD CPUs for a lot of reasons, but I would be more than happy to run an AMD graphics card in the future. And I may very well be doing that in the future if Nvidia keeps going the direction they're going, which is sizable price increases every time something comes out. That is not how technology is supposed to work. It's not how it's supposed to work. I forget what law is it, and I wish I could remember the name of that. I think we can return this old Sadie. I don't think we need her anymore. Let's go ahead and say goodbye to her. She did us well. She did us very, very well. So we've got room now in our in our fermenting silo for more silage to be made. In storage, we've got about 160,000 liters almost. Plus, we've got another 200,000 liters of grass. I would say we're probably going to hold back, maybe half of that for the sheep because they are munching through food like there's no tomorrow. Aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let's hop in. But yeah, just going back to that, technology is supposed to increase, but pricing is supposed to stay either relatively level with the previous model or possibly even less. And Nvidia is pretty much saying thanks, but no thanks to that. And the prices of their new 4000 series graphics cards are, in my opinion, ridiculous. Let's see here. How are we looking for? I'm almost certain we're going to need nitrogen. Yeah. pH doesn't look too shabby. Let's go. Let's run out to our grass field here and see if I'll spread some fertilizer out yonder here. Are we going to keep this grass? Actually, that's a good question. Maybe we aren't going to keep this field grass. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think we're going to plow this field up. So pH is okay. Nitrogen is okay. Kind of surprised about that, actually. How is that possible, though? Let's take a look at something. So we're standing here. I don't know. I'm looking at nitrogen being very, very poor. So why are we seeing okay for nitrogen? That's confusing to me. It's even 0, so why are you telling me that's okay? Is that based on the fact that grass doesn't need maybe as much? I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's curious. That's a curious thing to me. Well, if we're not going to keep this field grass, which I don't think we're going to do, I think we're going to take the rest of May before we jump into our hard, fast-paced harvesting season, which is June, which is coming up here, right? Is coming up just around the corner. I think if we take a look at the calendar, I think June, where's my calendar? Thank you. Yeah, June is when we're going to be hitting our canola fields. We got to get those out. We got to get our 2 canola fields, 2 canola fields taken care of. Then we're going to flip those right away into cornfields. So we're going to have to harvest, prep, and get corn planted straight away, at least on the North 40 field. We still have to combine that North 40 field, that field 1 and 2. We still want to do that. We might as well get those two combined. I'm not sure if we want to advance that out to this field quite yet or not, but definitely this one. We might as well. So yeah, I think we'll just leave this field for now, grass, just so that we have some available grasslands for our sheep when needed, and make a few bucks with our with some silage when we can. So I think I'm going to hold off on fertilizing field 3. And I think what we're going to want to do is hit it with a plow. And I think this guy right here, this chisel plow right here, isn't this what I used last time, I think, for plowing up? So what we're going to want to do is grab, it's our M8 over here. Yes, you are. Let's drop our trailer. Let's grab. And shows it as a cultivator, but I think this acts as a plow, right? Am I mistaken on that? I'm pretty sure this is what I used last time. And it doesn't show create or allow create fields, but I was able to activate that. And I don't have the I disabled the field create field cultivator mod, I think is what it's called, or something along those lines. Let's take a look at something here real quick. So if we're looking at, I don't think we needs plowing. Yeah, I know. I'm constantly reminded that I forgot to plow our... I like that animation. I think that's folded. Yeah, let's unfold her here. Wonder what would time that in real life, if it's just hydraulic and it's just pushing those down. I don't know. Interesting. I guess if we cultivate this, I don't know, do we need to plow this? Maybe we don't even need to plow it. What does that create for us, though? I got to get rid of that store delivery icon that's in my way. Let's get rid of that for now. Interesting, interesting. Let's get rid of our store delivery icon there. Come over here. Cultivated, yep. What did I use for a plow last time then? Maybe I leased something and returned it. Because I know we still have our one plow. Or did I sell? Yeah, I know I sold that. Yes, yes, that's what they were. That's what they were. Okay. All right, everyone. Sorry about that. Man, I lose my brain. I am going to return this, and we might as well. I don't know what it does. I think plowing is probably hurts environmental score, right? And I'm trying to think why we would need to plow that now that I'm thinking about it, because it's not in a need plows state, and I kind of default to that for a couple reasons. One, it takes care of that need plow state if it's available or extends it. Number two, weeds. For some reason, Farming Simulator loves the fact that when you plow your fields, you don't have to deal with weeds for, what is it, 3 seasons? Maybe? I think it's 3 seasons. So I'll take that, you know. Let's go ahead and turn on that. And we definitely need to move you over yonder here. And we can lock in. And I'm going to lower. Because I don't think our planter is a direct drill. In fact, generally speaking, aren't the only things that are direct drill seeders, if I'm not mistaken. Thing looks like it's been used on a few fields. Not so bad though. Still does a good job cultivating, that's for sure. Kind of thinking if we're just going to go ahead and get this field cultivated, we pretty much might as well maybe throw corn on this thing too and just have a big old corn harvest, corn plant and harvest. We've got different things we can use corn for in this map, so we might as well get a good-sized corn harvest out of the way. I don't see why not. Good deal. Let's throw one, let's get inside the cab, make this a little bit easier to see. Let's lower our cultivator again. And let's throw a headland down here. Get that taken care of. Give us a little more room. Thank you very much. Maybe throw one more down for good measure. Or 1.5, something like that, huh? That'll work. Don't hit any trees. Outstanding. Gives us a little bit of breathing room down here on this end to be able to make a little easier turn. See how hard the old M8 works pulling this thing up. Little incline there. It gets worse on that side, I think. Just on the other side over there is pretty good little dip going on. Seems to handle this thing quite easily though. So that's pretty much the game plan then, is we'll get this field prepped up, fully prepped up, ready to go for planting corn. And that way when June rolls around, we'll be able to get our canola field right there, harvested up. And we'll extend, we'll do our field join, get all of that field prepped for corn. We can be planting this field while we're prepping that field. So I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. We've got some work ahead of us to do, but I think we'll have plenty of time and opportunity to get all that done in June. If not, there's always the stop time, freeze time option in the easy development tools, where you can pretty much kind of pull a 0 off the clock thing, and which I hate doing. I don't think I've ever really done that. I've done halftime, and I always feel a little guilty when I run the game on halftime. I always feel a little bit like, you know, I'm cheating. I'm cheating a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just not. I've run into some people that are pretty hardcore with the cheating accusations with Farming Simulator, and I just really have never understood that, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, play the game the way you want to play it, you know? If you want to play the game ultra realistic, play it ultra realistic, you know? Walk around to every, you know, tractor. You know, I'll talk to people and say, "Oh, you like playing the game, you know, realistically?" Yeah. So you don't. So you walk and drive to every implement and walk or drive to every tractor. You don't tab, and some of them don't. You know, some of them are like, no. You know, absolutely not. And hey, respect for that. I don't know that I could do that. I think I could if I turned my running speed up to 16. But I don't think my farmer's quite that fast. I'm going to go ahead and pull. Yeah, we'll pull one more headland. Why not? Why not? But I don't know. I don't get into the cheating, pointing fingers, cheating stuff. I mean, play the game the way you want to. If you like, you know, just because I don't maybe like the way somebody plays the game, and like I watch some gameplay on YouTube once in a while where it's the fast farming, I guess they call it. I don't really get that. You know, it's not for me. You know, are they cheating? No, I wouldn't call it cheating, because who are they cheating? They're not cheating me. I think if you cheat, you have to be giving yourself an advantage over somebody else, right? And maybe over the game, I don't know, but it's just not my style of gameplay, though. I don't want to harvest at 25, 30 miles an hour. I would rather play small or medium-sized maps and play at more realistic speeds than playing on maps where you feel the need to have to run a harvester at 30 miles an hour. You know. And then on top of that, you get the harvesters that are holding 150,000 liters, and they have a hook on the, or you know, maybe they had a 3-point to the back so that you could have a baler on the back, or a windrower, and then have a baler hooked onto that. So you're harvesting at 30 miles an hour, plus you're windrowing and baling all at one time. You know what? If that's the way you want to play, knock yourself out. If that's, you know, who am I to say that you shouldn't enjoy the game that way? But it always does kind of fascinate me, though, that conversation still takes place on the Steam chats, Steam forums. If you go to the Steam discussion groups, I guess they're called, you know, you'll get a lot of that garbage going on. Even on Giants forum, you'll see that kind of stuff, like, well, you shouldn't be doing it that anyways, it's cheating. You know, at the end of the game, or at the end of the day, it's still a game. I mean, it's Farming Simulator Yeah, are we simulating farming? To a degree, you know. To a degree. But I'll tell you, it seems like with every version that Giants releases, there seems to be, I would suggest that the simulator part of it is getting stronger. And there is more to be said about this game being, you know, simulating things more and more with every version that's released. I mean, if we look at what we have today, I mean, look at this right here, right? Look at the graphics, the sound, the animation, the noise, the surroundings, the maps, everything, the lighting. I mean, I've seen pictures, I've taken pictures, and I've seen pictures, in-game pictures, that really make you do a double take. Like, wait a minute, is that, you know, is that a real deal, or is that in-game? Because things have gotten and are getting that good, you know? It's pretty crazy. In fact, how do I, just for fun, HUD visibility off? There we go. So we turn the HUD off. And I mean, there's some things, I mean, if you look at how the grass is getting the leading edge of the cultivator, you know, that doesn't look very realistic, right? Because it's just being chopped off one layer at a time. You can kind of tell. But if you look at the lighting, like I've seen pictures where you look at something like this, and it's not bad. That's not that unrealistic looking. That's pretty darn good. With shadows, with the textures, with the detail. I mean, it's not bad at all. So, and I think there are people out there asking for VR, right, to be brought into the game. I think that'll be interesting if that happens. What's going on there with those two knobs right there? I wish I had my head tracking on, or even the inside cab. There's a mod that allows you to zoom in a little bit more. Are those just for controlling rear implements? Are those? I don't know what those are. If you all know what those little knob there, those yellow levers there. Huh. Then you've got, what is that, windshield wiper looks like? Rear windshield wiper, rear defrost maybe, for back here. A hook there. I mean, things are, I mean, I would suggest if we're probably sitting inside of a Kubota M8 right now, this is pretty much what we would see, you know? And I'll tell you, for people like myself who, you know, and probably a lot of people that play this game who really are probably never truly going to have an opportunity, right, to sit behind the wheel of a lot of this machinery and run it in real life. And this is, you know, as close as we're going to get. You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And that's the way I feel about Truck Simulator with American Truck and Euro Truck Simulator. I'll never, be able to sit behind an 18, the wheel of an 18-wheeler driving in the Rockies or, pretty much anywhere. So the closest thing I'm going to get is American Truck or Euro Truck, and even that game, graphically has also come a long ways and is pretty darn impressive. I do think that supports VR, doesn't it? I think you can do VR with both of those, can't you? Well, this episode's gone a little long, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna call it good. I can finish up with our cultivating. And get this field taken care of. And I think probably what we'll do next time we get together, we will probably be heading to June, I would say. Probably going to lime this field up. I don't think it needs a whole lot, but I'm going to make sure we're good with that. I think that's one thing I believe corn is pretty hard on. Is it on the nitrogen or is it on the pH? I don't know, but I do know that growing corn seems to be a little bit harder on the land here in Farming Simulator, so we need to make sure we can give it all the help we can, get as much of a yield out of it as we can. And I think we're going to be in pretty good shape then. It's just showing. Oh, yeah, because it's still sitting at 62 for our environmental score. Not sure what to make of that all the time, but we'll take what we can get. But thanks, everyone, for joining me again here in Kubota Farm. I do appreciate it. And we will pick this up tomorrow for sure. Hope to see you again. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Sorry it went a little bit long today, but just got into playing and time goes by, so appreciate y'all joining me. And if you're still with me, thanks for sticking it out. And join me back here in East Violent. I do appreciate it. Subscribe if you also want to too. That way you can know when I put out new videos, which is pretty much Monday through Friday, and oftentimes weekend videos also too. So be glad to have you back. Make sure you take care of yourselves and let's take care of each other, most importantly, and I'll see y'all real soon. Bye for now.